resolution that says the road superintendent has the authority to execute documents for vehicles or equipment authorized by the Board of County Commissioners not to exceed, let's say, $50,000 per item. Then that policy would grant him the specific authority to sign the document in behalf of the board.
All right, well, commissioners, what do you think of that idea?
I'm fine with it. Thought that there was an issue with the actual company that we were buying from, which was, I think, Perkins Motors in this case, that didn't allow him. But if we want to create that, I don't see any problem with it, since it's going to be for vehicles that we've already approved in a meeting. I think it just makes it a little bit easier to handle the paperwork and the process of getting that done.
Ben, you and I want to work on a policy that might address that issue. I don't want to include the leasing of any of these things because there are some specific statutory limitations on the leasing of equipment.
Sure. Could you possibly draft something?
I can draft a policy and then I'll send it to you and you can circulate it.
Okay, that would be great. And maybe we could formally approve it next time.
Yeah, by resolution and adopted by resolution.
Right.
But
great.
The board to understand that once you adopt this, if there's any controversy concerning whether in fact your agent, the superintendent, had the specific authority to do this, it raises two issues. One, did it bind the county in terms of the purchase? And two, do you have any recourse against your superintendent if you believe that he exceeded his authority? And three, if they sue him personally, are you going to indemnify him for the cost of the defense and any potential judgment? So, as I draft this, I want you to consider these factors.
We need to talk to Sam. We need to see what exactly was the specifics were of this, and if it really saves us that time, how many times does it happen a year? If it's just a couple times a year, I don't think that it's necessary. You want to see if you can get Sam on the phone before we go, and we can go on to the next thing before we have any yay or nay on this one, Ben?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and move on, and I'll see if I can get Sam to call in.
All right. Mr. Tommy B. Hill, Director, Department of Social Services, purchase of a van replacement vehicle for child welfare.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So, I've dealt with Town and Country over here. I try to keep the business local, so I did find a Grand Caravan, Dodge. And so I'm going to be trading in the Kia. The Kia has approximately 177,654 miles. And so we just unfortunately put a lot of miles on those when we do our home visits with our kids. A lot of times they're in placements outside of the valley, so those vehicles just pick up a lot of miles. Long story short, at the end of the day, when I trade in the Kia for the van, where the final cost out the door for us is going to be $17,000. I need your approval to go ahead and do that. If I get your approval, I was going to make this happen. I got with John Espinoza at Town and Country, and we're going to do all the paperwork and everything tomorrow.
Does anybody have any problems with that?
That is something that's within your budget that you budgeted for that is,
So what it is, we have a couple of different options. I didn't budget for this because I didn't think we were going to rack up that many miles that fast. And unfortunately, also the Kia It has a dual cam setup in the engine, and we were getting some check engine lights, so I had our mechanic, after they can replace those sensors, look at it. We replaced both sensors on that, and so it's not the sensors, it's actually the cams need to be replaced on them, and the cost of that is going to be more than the vehicle's worth. So at the end of the day, what we're going to do is we're going to, I didn't plan for it. I didn't plan for the cams to go out, so we didn't put it in our child welfare, in our budget to take it out of welfare. So it will be county only that we're going to utilize. I do have a second option though, because I did talk to Walsmith and Bateman, and there's a possibility we could still charge it off to child welfare because they're the ones that are going to be using it. So I'm still kind of looking at talking to Jenna at WSC, my accountant Nancy, to see if we can still charge it off to child welfare. But right now it's looking like we're going to use county only.
Yeah, can't hear you.
And within county only, you have that in budget?
Absolutely, yeah. I tried to not. So if you don't have any objections, I was going to have Nancy do all the paperwork for it, and then cut a check for just Town and Country, and then I was going to take care of all this tomorrow.
I move we accept this expenditure.
I'll second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion
All
carried.
right, thank you, Commissioners. I appreciate that. If you have any other questions or concerns or any paperwork or any of the numbers or whatever, please let me know. Or you want me to follow up with you to, and if we're able to charge it off to child welfare, if there's still that possibility, I will definitely follow up with all of you and let you know exactly what we said to do. But either way, we're going to be okay. We're going to be safe either way.
All right, thanks, Tommy.
All right, thank you.
All right, public health engines contracts. Healthy Solutions fiscal year 21 subcontract.
So Vivian is out this week. I'll be presenting these. Give me 1 second. I did call Sam, so he is driving, but he's gonna try and call in. So so these are essentially grant contracts as much as they are regular contracts. I talked briefly with Ed about them yesterday, and he kind of sees them as grant contracts, and that you either sign them and get the money for the most part, or you don't. So the first one is a subcontract, and I'm reading from Vivian's email, from the Colorado Prevention Center, CPC Community Health. This is the Colorado Heart Healthy Solutions to Reduce Cardiovascular Risk in Costilla County through screening and navigation. Lisa Casillas works with this program 50% of the time. She is a certified health navigator and provides cardiovascular disease health screenings. This subcontract is for a 6-month period. We expect it will be renewed in 6 months, but due to COVID-19, we may not be able to perform face-to-face screenings. Therefore, this may take a different direction. We have just recently started seeing clients again. The amount is for $13,353.30. And again, it's the Colorado Heart Healthy Solutions fiscal year 21 subcontract.
Vivian's recommending that we approve them.
Yes, she is recommending that you approve it.
All right. get a, motion.
I make a motion to, get the Colorado Heart Healthy Solution fiscal year 21 subcontract.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. And the second one would be state tobacco education, prevention, and cessation, STP fiscal year 21 sub-recipient contract.
Correct. So as she writes, this is the second sub-recipient contract for the STEP program, which is state tobacco prevention work. This is Lisa Casillas' program as well. This is a full-year contract of which we've had for the past 5 years. The amount is the same as last year, which is $27,250. And she is also recommending approval of this.
I would make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried unanimously. I think we probably want to ask for liquor licenses now. Do we have any liquor licenses?
We do not.
Okay, because I think those two should probably be switched, right? And we have
Yeah, it's just a standard template. Sometimes the times don't match up. Sorry about that, between Roman numeral 4 and 5. It looks like Sammy is on the line. Sam, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah. Sam, the question was, how often do you need authorization? How many times would you use this per year? Basically, we would have to draft a resolution to give you this, and so we're wondering, if it's really necessary, and how many times it comes up, and how much time it would save.
Yeah, and I don't need to have it all the time. It's just on different issues, like the 2 vehicles and the grader and the mower. They wanted my signature. I don't know how much of an issue that was, or if it was even legal to do that. Was my question.
So, what? They just ended up giving you the paperwork, and then I signed it, correct?
Well, honestly, when I signed for the motor grader and the mower and the other 2 vehicles, we didn't have no issue. Just with Perkins in Colorado Springs, they wanted that paper, and it was only a one-time deal. I don't know if the rest are going to have an issue with it, or just this one dealership. I'm not sure. And that's why I was asking. I mean, you guys probably know in the past how it was done. I have no idea. Maybe Edwin has some.
Well, the only issue is when the vendor wants to make sure that you have the authority to make a purchase in behalf of your principal, the county, they need some documentation to support that sale. And the county down the road, if this is, you may remember a number of years ago when there were purchases of a whole lot of stuff from parts houses that were being made by either the individual commissioners or the road supervisors, and they were not authorized, and people got prosecuted and got sent to jail. The issue is whether the board wants to delegate that responsibility, because once it does it, you have the apparent authority to purchase in behalf of the county, and the county cannot get out of the purchase.
Yes, and I want to move forward quickly when we do something, but I don't want to have, the responsibility. I mean, I'm responsible enough, but it's a line in between both, So we could visit the issue on individual purchases if that's better. I don't know how you guys want to do it. I guess that's why I brought it up. That was my question. How the commission wants to move forward on it. What's easier, what's safer for the county?
I think given the fact that everything is so technological these days, Sam, and that we could get stuff faxed or scanned and printed out and sent back within a day or even hours, I would feel more comfortable that the board be responsible as a board for signing off on these expenditures.
Great, because we do get it approved before any kind of purchase is made. I go through the board before I decide it. So, it's good with me. However you decide is great with me. I don't want a lot riding on my account, and being responsible. But at that point, I am, in that position. But I want you guys to rest assured that it's going to be before the board.
To get the authority to purchase anything, you could delegate that to a board member, and the board member can act in behalf of the county without convening a board meeting.
And that's what would move the purchase along faster, because a lot of times they're waiting, and of course we're having meetings a little more often than normal, so that helps as well. But I'm good with everything, with everyone.
What spending limit do you have right now that you can actually do without board approval, Sam? Is it 5,000?
You're correct, Stephen.
I think, I don't want to hold back purchases. I think that we got the Perkins truck really fast. I think the biggest issue was the COVID on the other two trucks and the fact that we had ordered them since March and they just came in. And I know on the John Deere stuff, it did hold us back a little bit, but given the history that Edwin explained, I just feel more comfortable keeping it the way it is, and we'll just, if something's really urgent and we have to convene a special meeting, or we have to, we can advertise it within 24 hours. And I don't think that, on those big purchases a week is going to make us or break us. That's my thoughts on it, unless you guys have anything else to add.
And I totally agree with you, Stephen.
Yeah, me as well. I'm good with it. I just wanted to know how you guys wanted to move forward.
If there's something really pressing, Sam, give us a heads up and we can advertise a meeting. It'll take 10 minutes to come together and do a purchase or sign papers, whatever we need to do.
Awesome. Even with the Perkins dealership, it didn't take very long for you to draft up a letter and sign it, and we sent it. So, and that was just for application for title is all.
Well, you know what? I think Sam's always giving us a heads up anyway. He's always doing that to us. And I like the way he's doing that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't want no secrets. You guys need to know where it's going and how it's being done. So that's just the way I try to operate.
All right, let's leave it as it is then, and we'll see how it goes. If things come up in the future, we'll try to deal with it. But let's just there's a reason it is the way it is now. It's
Safety.
Yeah, it's like my farmer once told me, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yes, sir.
Well, and I'd like to say also that, that's, some added stress that probably doesn't need to be. I think we expect them to do, enough as it is, much less having this type of responsibility. I think it's some of the ways that we can take some of that weight off of their shoulders.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that. Anyway, we don't see any kind of big purchases in the future anyway. So, with that being said, we could just go in front of the board like normal.
All right, great. Thank you, Sam.
You're welcome. Anything else?
Oh, we did get some compliments on our, trucks, from the public. They said that, they liked the direction that we were going with the 2500s and the single cab with the long beds. They said those are quote unquote real work trucks, and that they were glad to see that we weren't buying four-door horns, longhorns, whatever they're called. So we. Good job on that, and good job, Mikey. And you know, it's not rare. It's I don't know. I think that might be a first that we've ever actually got a compliment from buying. Honestly, it's something I've never heard before. So. So I thought I'd throw that in there. So thanks, Sam.
Great. Yeah, you guys are welcome.
I've got a few compliments on mine.
Yours is the Texas edition, right?
No, it's not. Costilla County edition.
Oh, okay.
Well, no decisions don't go without the board, so, you know, you guys deserve the...
Yeah, we have never questioned your honesty or integrity, Sam. You're good, man.
Well, thank you. Hope to work further, move forward in the future.
Right on. Do we need an executive session for anything? Anybody?
I was going to make a public comment.
Yeah, I don't have anything either, Steve. So hold on. I think Jonathan Masters, if I'm not crazy, is that you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I had a public comment. I just wanted to make a general comment about economics. Just a couple minutes.
Anybody object?
I know I got here a minute late, so I didn't want to stop the meeting, but since you guys are all here, I did want to talk about economics.
All right, Masters, we're all listening.
Okay, cool. All right, so to start talking about economics, I think you got to start with Milton Friedman. Okay, so first I'm going to talk a little bit about Milton Friedman, then I'm going to talk about job creation. Okay, Milton Friedman, he's your standard-bearer conservative economist, like your Henry Kissinger of economics. So to begin to talk about economics, you have to begin with Milton Friedman as a jumping-off point. Now, I don't agree with Milton Friedman on a lot of things, but he's very consistent on several main points. First thing he wants to do, he wants to maximize privatization as much as possible, so no government water, no government recreation center, no government sewage, no biodiesel plants, nothing, no enterprises of any kind, just sell it all off to private corporations. He also says sell off all government assets, no parks, no land, no abandoned buildings, no vacant lots, nothing. So I disagree with those, but while he's conservative, he did believe in some government. He wanted a fair judicial system so that the corporations have a non-biased place to resolve their disagreements. And exports, this is the one that I agree with. For general economists, if we have a high GDP is a key, that's absolutely key to the economy. So just apparently by everybody just producing as much stuff as possible, that tends to raise the standard of living for everybody else. So for Milton Friedman, his key focus was on producing as many exports as possible. So I feel to the people of Costilla County, I think we can work on that, producing as many exports as possible. So job creation. Job creation isn't constitutionally mandated for our politicians to do, so it's not a crime for our politicians, which I think is our leadership here in the county. Life can be complicated, but it can also be very simple. So ultimately, when it comes to Maslow's hierarchy of human needs, we all need the same thing: food, water, clothing, shelter, security. But in America, in capitalist, dog-eat-dog America, we also have to have a job or some kind of business. We have to have some kind of income flow. So in capitalist, dog-eat-dog America, we must get a job or we die. We must get a job, or even more difficult, start up a successful business, or that's it. Or we die. Those are our options. And so while I don't believe it's not constitutionally mandated, so it's not like it's, the county commissioner's job to specifically, have public works or a TVA like FDR's TVA, or run the economy like the liberal economist John Maynard Keynes. But I think ultimately it's good for the people. It's good for the people to bring as many jobs here as possible, to create a culture that's friendly towards new industry, large and small. It's good for the people to be concerned about the number of jobs here and the overall economic well-being of this community. So I think that we can work within the parameters. We won't specifically create jobs, but I think that we can create a culture to where we actually get more businesses here, large, small. When it comes to, I don't know if we could convince Tesla to open a plant here, or McDonald's, or some big, I don't know if a big corporation will come in here and save us all. Maybe not, but I think we could try. We could write letters. We could try to get them in here. But I think ultimately we got to work on developing ourselves. So I think starting small businesses is your number one job creator. So by starting small businesses, you're also creating jobs too. So I feel like the culture, we can create the culture. We don't have to specifically create jobs, but I think we can work within the parameters by creating a culture where we can get more jobs here. We can get more jobs here and protect small business. So small business, large business, security, lots of jobs. Okay. That's my 2 cents. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Masters, and, I think, there'd be a time when I can discuss this in, greater, when we have more time.
Can I mention one last thing? We live on a bird migratory path, so I don't know what it takes to get Elon Musk interested in us, but if he's a bird watcher, maybe that would be the key to getting him here.
All right, thanks for the comment.
All right, thank you.
Until 1 o'clock, for the Board of Equalization. Unless anybody else has anything, I'd like to go ahead and adjourn.
Yeah, sorry for the long delay. It's hard to schedule these things. Some meetings, the first agenda item takes an hour. Other meetings, the whole agenda takes an hour. So I didn't know how long this would take. Probably could have bumped up the BOE hearings a little earlier, but I'm sorry, they are set for 1 o'clock, like you said, Stephen.
All right. No reason to.
Thank you.
I think, how many are on the agenda today, Ben? Off the top of your head? I got the.
I'm sorry.
You know how many we're doing today?
BOE hearings?
There's 4.
Yeah, 4 property owners and 6 parcels.
Okay. All right.
So it's the same Zoom instructions, same call-in instructions. So we'll have you guys reconvene at 1 o'clock, like you said, Stephen.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. And there's not anything. We are adjourned.
See you at 1.
Bye.
See you at 1.
You already know that the impacts of climate change are speeding. speeding
Yeah.
up. It was so hot a few days ago here in Washington, D.C., that I just sat down